we do have a large amount of history that we know that might make things seem different. You know, our city was founded by the railroad, right? This rail car was a gift to us from that very railroad that founded us. So to be able to put that alongside any number of properties that we have that are rail adjacent or exemplify the railroad, or even implement it as part of the high-speed rail that we're moving forward in. That could be something that could be a really neat win to kind of showcase this gift that was given to Fresno by its founders. So I think that's where pursuing advice from the public, pursuing advice from the Historic Preservation Commission is possibly worthwhile, and it just makes our city a little bit more unified and tighter. You know, we're under this one Fresno idea, and I like it. I really want it to move forward, and this is where our groups within need to be arm in arm on things like this. So similar with Armenian Town, that one really took me by surprise, only because we've done so much work, spent a lot of money, not only taking and making a beautiful historic place, but you know, getting the public involved and trying to get this district moving, and the money that was spent on just getting the district and the survey done, and it's a really big cultural project that the Historic Preservation Commission so wants to happen for the people. And so that one was surprising to see it come under a different name. The High Project really kind of threw a curveball. I couldn't see that coming. I'm sorry. I wish, but yeah, it's just another item that we hope that our council and us can be arm in arm and make good decisions together with the community. It is the community's work. We're here to represent you. So that's something that really took me by surprise. Any other commissioners have any thoughts on those two things? And I will go ahead and open this one eventually here to the public. I want to hear your thoughts too. We're here to listen. Go ahead, Commissioner Rocha.
Yes, yeah, I think it's also important to speak to the dates that this has been brought up continuously over the years. Several city staff, historic preservation city staff members ago, I went back and looked over years and years of minutes from this commission before I was even old enough to join, and I'm a 35-year-old man now, and I just think how are we able to make any decisions about designated districts when we aren't even offered the opportunity to be heard on the districts we find eligible, and we're not even offered an answer from our own city council? I'm in New York right now. It's late here. All of the commissioners that are on this commission, we serve because we genuinely care. And it just feels like I've only been serving on this commission since 2020. And with all due respect to our city council, it's the very least you could do to answer us when our own chair has written you a letter asking for answers, asking why we haven't been responded to. I think it's disrespectful for how much the city's own staff has put into this. These are all of the commissioners here are appointed by the mayor. So why aren't we being heard? Why aren't we being answered? For me, it's more than, if you don't care about historic preservation, fine. Maybe you care about redlining and segregation. You want to talk about the reason why Armenian Town is Armenian Town in the first place. This right here in this moment is why history matters. If you don't care about old buildings, care about history for this very reason. That land belongs rightfully to the Armenian community, at least for them to have a say in the conversation, because they had to live there because they were not allowed to live in any other places in Fresno, or most places in Fresno. And many of those deeds still show that. A lot of the developers of the time, also led by our own government at the time, put those in place. They had no choice but to call Armenian Town home. And now we can't even show that community who has some of the richest, most beautiful culture in Fresno. We can't show them the respect to, there should be no question whether the community, the Armenian community and the community at large was reached out to about this. There should be no question at all. And I would just, it's frustrating because to look back, if I can, I went back in newspaper archives, and from August 26, 2003 in the Fresno Bee, Fresno's Forgotten Jewel, there's a picture of one of the homes boarded up. City buys up historic houses, then neglects neighborhood of William Soroyan. And that was 2003. Here we are all of these years later. We should not, it shouldn't be this difficult for our community and our historic preservation and arts and culture communities to be a part of the conversation with the city. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Any other commissioners like to speak on this item?
Paul has his hand.
I have a thought here. I grew up here, and I had the privilege of living in the Bay Area for a number of years, and it's really interesting to get away from your home and see what other people think about it. And quite honestly, when I was up there, people thought Fresno was a kind of banal, uninteresting farming community of 20,000 people. And everyone was sort of the same, homogenous. And what our leadership, our city leadership is doing is reinforcing that perception that there's really nothing interesting here. When we continue to wipe out our history, it just feeds into that perception that there's really nothing of value in Fresno. And it's a shame that the leadership at the highest level doesn't understand that history and culture are the things that make great cities. It's our leadership who should have a vision for Fresno as a great city and understand the things that it takes to actually make a great city. So there's lots and lots of rhetoric. There's a lot of, programs and issues going on right now, but this is a simple thing. We have to preserve history if we're going to rise up and become a great world-class city. You look at any world-class city, it's people go there, they go there for the history and the culture, and to erase history and the history and culture of Fresno that hasn't already been erased is a shame. And I hope the city council is paying attention to this, because this is a tragedy. It's a slap in the face, quite honestly, for members of the Armenian community. And I hope nothing like this happens again to any other, community that's made Fresno what it is. So let's stop this suburbanization of Fresno. Let's reclaim our history and culture. And I'm calling on the city council and the mayor to take the lead in that effort.
Thank you.
Amen.
The two other things I will add. The two other things I will add is for a good friend of the commission here, Mr. John Roop, actually lives in one of the homes in Armenian Town that would be in the designated district. There's 8 homes down near him, and all of those 6 of those 8 have owners that actually live in those buildings. And the conversation that I've had with him is that all 6 of his neighbors are on board for this. They'd like to be a part of the district. They're interested in that aspect of it. And to kind of touch on that subject as well, is it was not today's present city government, but it was city government in the past that allowed Caltrans to basically plow a freeway right through their school.
Right.
The exit you get off at Van Ness